WWE falsely advertised Brock Lesnar for a pay-per-view. We've got future Alexa Bliss plans, and a new memo has been issued regarding WWE name changes. So we've been talking a lot about Brock Lesnar. He was advertised for WrestleMania Backlash. Now he's not advertised for WrestleMania Backlash. He is advertised for Money in the Bank. He is advertised for SummerSlam. But talking about that WrestleMania Backlash one, it appears that he was never going to be there in the first place, despite being front and center of some of the advertising on WWE.com and sent out to venues and all that sort of stuff. So this comes from the Wrestling Observer. And it's written, the other significant news is that Brock Lesnar was pulled from advertising for WrestleMania Backlash, which is actually very notable. The key in this situation is not that they changed their mind, but Lesnar was never actually booked for the show, only advertised for it. There was never a plan discussed for a match with him. This is a different type of false advertising than WWE usually does, which would be the fact he's got to say this. It is nuts. It is nuts.
Well, they've got the card subject to change get out, right? That's usually the way.
Sure, but I'd be pretty pissed off if I bought a ticket, you know. So this would be a different situation if somebody gets hurt or sick and they know they won't be there, but they keep it from the public and continue to advertise them. This is spreading things into a new realm, Dave writes, especially because Lesnar is theoretically one of the two biggest drawing cards the company has. Stars, I imagine he meant to say there. I'm gonna. It is annoying and it's not on, right? But keep in mind that this was advertised before WrestleMania, and if Lesnar wasn't on that poster, people would have jumped to the conclusion that Reigns was definitely winning, and I think we all pretty much knew that anyway. It's still not on.
No, it's not right, but it's sort of the nature, in a way, of the beast when it comes to wrestling, because there has to be some element of secrecy, when it comes to the plans, as you're saying, and I think that while it doesn't justify it, and while people may have been buying tickets, on the express belief that they're going to see a Lesnar match, and now they're not, that side of it sucks. But I see kind of why they have to maybe do it in some instances. But in this case, when you've got somebody who wasn't going to be on the card in general,
I mean that's the only reason I'm willing to throw him a bone here is the fact that if he hadn't been on there and Reigns had been on there, you knew who was winning at WrestleMania.
He needs a stand-in, like back when you'd have like weekly sitcoms on American TV, be like, the part of Brock Lesnar tonight is being played by, and then insert name.
Marco Stunt's available.
Yeah, Hogan when Hogan wouldn't make dates, he had a stand-in. And do you know who his stand-in was?
What, playing the role of Hulk Hogan?
No, not playing the role of Hulk Hogan.
Mr. America.
Taking the spot in the match. No, I wish. It was Brutus the Barber Beefcake. On a couple of occasions, I've listened to some podcasts and it's like, so you were going to get Hogan versus X, and everybody's like, okay.
And
he doesn't show up, and instead you get Ed Leslie. And it's like, oh great, yeah, Brutus, yeah.
Wonderful. Oh, I'd have been buzzing as a young fan, big Barber fan. Who isn't? We've got future plans for Alexa Bliss now. So she's been off TV for a little while. Congratulations to her. She just got married as well. Lovely stuff. But a quick note in the Observer again, Bliss right now is slated to be on the babyface side when she returns after her honeymoon. So she's been a bit vocal on Twitter about the fact that she'd been cut from a show and that they just hadn't been using her. I'm ready to cheer her, I think she's a better heel personally, but I'm ready. I really like Alexa.
I'm just sort of happy that this seems to be the ultimate final line drawn under everything, because while Alexa and Bray was an interesting prospect, slowly as Bray and the company's relationship soured and then Bray leaves, and then Alexa's still very much in this world, but without sort of the person who was the impetus for all of it.
Alexa's good in the role, but it was Bray.
Alexa was good enough on her own without needing to have that anyway. So it felt a bit like, well, why is she being relegated to this now that you've all seemingly moved on as a company past Bray? You're moving on to the future, and she's still very much just
weird, isn't it?
Waiting.
It's weird. Looking forward to seeing her back anyway, and it'll be interesting to see how the babyface thing goes. Anyway, moving on from somebody that we do want to see on TV to somebody that we don't want to see on TV. Natalya making her NXT.
You cruel
don't be
bastard.
nice, but she's She's been boring forever.
She's got cats.
Yeah.
She's got cats to feed
and
on
she's
them.
got funny ears, and she does all right wrestling, and she's
a
boring.
heart, damn it.
Yeah, she
She's a
is,
heart.
and that's the worst thing because every time a pissing fiend plays, I think Brett's coming out. I'm so bored of her. So it's a good thing she's on NXT because I only watch the highlights. No, Natalya is going to be working NXT as a regular. She's slated to work regularly on SmackDown as well, but the idea is to have a main brand wrestler with the idea that it'll help ratings. So you choose Natalya and can work with the less experienced women and help them. Right. The good thing about this is Natalya is a pretty safe pair of hands. She's a very, very good wrestler. And in ring, great. She can help people out down there. That's grand, right?
Yeah.
I don't see her popping the ratings much. It's Natalya, for goodness sake.
I'm amazed.
She's so
that
nice. I feel like such a wanker now.
Natty's somebody who I thought they would have just found like a Heyman-esque mouthpiece for, and they would have tried to make the focus with Natalya as a character be, the technical heart legacy and the in-ring side of it without having to worry so much about the personality-driven stuff. And she may enjoy doing it, may want to continue doing it, which is why we've maybe not seen her with a mouthpiece. But at the same time, in terms of the NXT move for her, I think it's really good simply because while it may not pop ratings as they're hoping, Natty's kind of been involved a lot with the developmental side of things anyway. She was involved with, because, you can come to WWE as an independent wrestler with however many years of experience. You still have to go through training because there's a distinct WWE style you need to learn. But Natty tended to be the person who would be hands-on first with female talent. So she was involved with the WWE training of Lana, Liv Morgan, Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler, Nikki Bella, Sasha Banks, and Tamina. So, and I mean, if you go back and you see some stuff.
And Tamina.
Yeah, choo-choo. Obviously, she was also involved with people like Eve Marie, but it's a chance for more NXT talent to learn from.
That's what she should be doing. She should be putting people over, helping them get better in the ring.
I think this is where she's going to end up.
Maybe move to agent producer sort of thing.
The female trainer, I think.
Yeah, quite possibly. And I think that would be great for her. I just haven't been entertained by her in a long time.
Yeah,
so apologies to Natalya. You're very, very good, and I feel like a tosser now.
You should.
A new memo has been issued.
She's not going to set you up with her sister now.
Balls. New memo has been issued regarding name changes. So we've seen a lot of these in recent times. Some are great, none are great. Most are all are awful.
Yeah.
So this is quite a lengthy thing here that Dave's written.
So grab a cup of tea, sit down.
Exactly. But it's interesting. The actual story behind all of these name changes. Talent got a memo, and Vince McMahon decreed that he doesn't want anyone new using their real names anymore, nor names that they've used before on the indie scene. I think most of us guessed that.
Yeah.
So Walter became Gunther because Walter was both his real name and a name that he used on the indie scene. Raquel Gonzalez kept Raquel. Not her real name, but had to drop Gonzalez, her real name. So if any part of your name is in part of your real name, you're losing it.
The Raquel Gonzalez one was pretty crap though, because she'd come out fairly recently before the name switch, saying how important it was for her to keep the Gonzalez, and she was really happy, and then boom. And it was
a real shame, isn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously this is about limiting what people can do following their WWE tenure. So if they go elsewhere, they don't want to be they don't want people profiting off WWE's intellectual property.
It's multifaceted, right? Because they owned the new name, they stopped their original name being either a big deal or continuing on a legacy on the indie scene, and it just secures every last little bit of rights for them while and whatever name they use afterwards, it might have to kind of be similar to the WWE one anyway.
Tell you what, Cesaro's played a blinder because he might not be rebranding as Claudio Castagnoli again. He's changed his Instagram thing to Claudio So he's taking most of the vowels out. Yeah. I think it's quite clever, isn't it? That's a nice way around it.
Just get a really posh, hoity-toity ring announce.
Right? So Raquel Gonzalez could have been Gunzls. It works. So this doesn't apply to everybody, obviously. Gable Steveson won't be changing his name. There's a really funny note here. Randy Orton isn't going to change to Frank Trevino. Frank Trevino? What? I don't know. He's plucked it out of thin air. And Brock and Ronda, sorry. And also Riddle, because that is his real last name, but that's not going to be changing either. It's basically, this applies to who they want it to apply to, doesn't it?
If you have sway and if your name is worth money not in wrestling, I'm sure that you're going to, like Logan Paul, he's not going to be rebranded to something new. If your name has sway out there in the real world where, people generally talk about things, not like wrestling, which is kind of a sheltered, grubby hobby.
Yeah, that's totally it. So yeah, that's your news today. I hope they let me keep AJ Hazard. I'll be gutted if they don't.
They better.
Yeah, they will. They will. Anyway, that's it. We will see you very, very shortly. Take care of yourselves. If you're in the UK, I don't know if it applies to America as well. I hope you're enjoying the time off as well. Bank holiday, isn't it? Not for us.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter.